What a Monday for everyone in the NBA, especially us Lakers fans. It's Gerald Glassford coming back with some more breaking news. So as we went off the air earlier today, Joe and I, we found out that, hold on, wait, Jeanie Buss, Jeanie Buss, Jeanie Buss says, while the rest of the siblings may have voted to sell the team, as per what was reported by Shams Charania of ESPN. Wait. Jeanie Buss herself said, no, I wish to stay on as governor. I wish the Buss family stake stays in place. So the Buss family drama continues. I said earlier it was kind of weird that everybody seemed to be on the same page in the statement that was made to ESPN. I was like, kind of strange. This is a family that never gets along and never agrees on anything. Well, sure enough, they didn't agree on everything, as Jeanie Buss is trying to put up a fight. And as per her lawyer, sent out a notice to the press stating that they will fight the decision to go ahead and sell off the remaining Buss family assets in the Los Angeles Lakers, a roughly 17.8% stake in the team, to the Bob Iger, Josh Kushner group. So there is more Buss family drama. Love it, Craig. Great to have you here. Jay, what's going on? Truly appreciate you joining us. It is Gerald Glassford coming right back at you from the Lakers Fast Break. Love this family drama. I got my popcorn ready. Went to Trader Joe's. Legend's here. Great to have you here, Legend. Legend, I've got my popcorn ready. I'm here to watch the Succession remake. It's HBO didn't have enough years of Succession, didn't have enough seasons, so there's an extra season of the Buss family Succession drama, man. I'm here for it, Legend. But your thoughts, my friend, while I eat a little popcorn here, as we talk about the Buss family drama, which started out this afternoon as the Buss family stake being sold to Bob Iger, Josh Kushner, and that group, and now looking like it's up in the air because one member of the family named Jeanie Buss, who just happens to be the governor of the Los Angeles Lakers, saying, no, wait, I'm ready to put up a fight. What are your thoughts on that, Legend?
Well, the circus come to town pretty often, and this one keep coming over and over. And right now, they got the makeup on that. They got all the red makeup, the white makeup, everything you need to be a clown. And the oink, you got all of it right now going on. It's been kind of a clown show, and kind of odd, just to see this is going on in the off season too. And I just kind of wonder, like Luka and them, like how you guys feel about all this. All this is happening. And this is a lot happening. You go from Mark Walter selling his part onto the new owners, and now you see the Buss family completely out the picture. Now it's just
not
kind
yet.
Well, yeah, you're right. Not yet.
Not
Ain't been
yet.
finalized yet, but in the process of being completely out the picture. It is pretty odd how a lot of this is all happening at one go right now. And just gonna go on and say it, Rob Pelinka, your days are numbered, man. It's numbered. Because like I said, when you get a new owner, they want their guys in office. That's what they want. They want their guys. So everybody who worked it for Jeanie or everybody who worked it for Mark, who came in with Mark, you're gonna probably be gone within about a year. By the next off season, I expect a lot of clean house. There's only one person who may not get touched, possibly depending on what happened at JJ Redick. They might keep him. He's still fresh. But then again, who knows? They might say, yeah, you was part of the other crew. Hey, hit the front door. We got your suitcase packed up. You can head out to. Who knows? You just never know. Because new owners like their own people. So it's kind of hard to say who's going to stay, who's going to be gone. But I feel pretty confident Rob Pelinka going to have his bag packed up and getting ready to sit on the sideline with the rest of us watching Lakers games.
Well, again, if you haven't heard the news, as we talked about earlier today, the Buss family had decided as a group 5-0, as far as the voting is concerned, to go ahead and sell the team, their share of the team, 17.8%, to the group that's also buying the shares from Mark Walters, CEO of the Guggenheim Group. 17.8% for the Buss family earlier today. And again, as reported on later on in the day, ESPN's not having the best of days. They get these two big news items with the Lakers and the Clippers, with Kawhi and the investigation, and the Lakers with the Buss family drama. And they don't get it right off the bat on both occasions, which is absolutely hilarious. So, not the best day for ESPN, but Jeanie Buss was the lone family member not in favor to sell, as the 5 siblings, which is what Shams Charania should have reported. Instead, he voted that the Buss family, needed to make a little correction there. As the 5 siblings, though, voted 5-0, including the 3 trustees, to sell the Buss stake. Now, the 3 trustees, again, the third one that didn't vote in favor was, of course, Jeanie Buss, to sell the Buss stakes. Jeanie Buss' attorney says tonight that she intends to battle the remainder of the family in order to keep their shares. So, with that said, my friend, to get into legalese, the tag-along clause has been talked about in the past few hours. A tag-along clause is a contractual provision that allows minority shareholders to join a sale of shares initiated by a majority shareholder under the same terms and conditions protecting their interests. So, in the case of what the Buss family is doing, is the tag-along clause. So, they want to tag along with the rest of the sale that's going on, I believe, with Mark Walters, CEO of the Guggenheim Group. So, absolutely, just a mess. In fact, someone on Lakers Latest, the show I do every morning, said it best, Legend, last week when the original sale to Walter happened. He called the Lakers a clown show, and I was kind of like, well, we don't want to go ahead, and say that really, and I know they've had a lot of drama in the past, but just it was, again, a lot of problems, a lot of issues with Mark Walter. But I can't argue it now, Legend.
Yeah.
The Buss family drama that's going on, this is a clown show going on in El Segundo.
I mean, this is turning into a reality TV show. Like, I'm not sure they're gonna make me look really old when I say this. I don't know how many of you guys seen with that old classic show. I think it was my hospital, children's hospital, something like that, in the early 2000s.
All My Children.
All My Children. That's it.
Yeah, there you go.
That's what it's turning into right now. With this, it's turning into a whole reality TV show. If you don't know
soap opera, it's a soap opera. It wasn't a reality show; it's a soap opera.
Soap opera. Look, I was a kid when that was coming on TV. My grandma used to love watching it. That's what it's looking
like.
And
General Hospital. Don't forget General Hospital. I think you had both of them mixed together. So yes, that was an afternoon morning for mothers and wives all around the country, each and every time back in the day, with General Hospital and All My Children. And the drama continues, my friend. So with that said, this is going to be a dragged out fight. We thought the Kawhi deal might be a dragged out fight. That still may be, because if that's erroneous reporting, there's got to be a lot more to it. But we'll set that aside. This may be a dragged out, knockdown fight. Jeannie's trying to scratch and claw for everything she can get to keep a hold of her governorship. But it looks like on the surface, she may be fighting a losing battle. I don't want to say she's lost, but on the surface, when all except for her in her family and the trustees want to sell the team, I don't know if she's going to be able to go ahead and win on out.
Yeah, I don't know if she can win this battle. I mean, when it's almost a unanimous decision, it's hard to win that type of battle. And it's kind of obvious your siblings don't want to do this anymore. You by yourself, and majority rules, unfortunately. And I just see she's gonna be wasting money on this one. If she's gonna really go far with this, she most likely gonna be wasting money away. I mean,
she got some money anyways, from Mark Walter last year, so yeah, she can spend a little.
She can spend it. Go for it. Hey, your lawyer don't mind making some money off of you. You probably know you're gonna lose too, but I wouldn't say nothing either. Yeah, go on and pay me. I'll try, but you're probably gonna lose this case. I think it's over though. I think it's over, and I just don't see her winning this battle. It,
Well, the question is why she wants to put up a fight in all this. In fact, is again, if all your siblings, part of the Buss family, want to leave, but you want to stay, ask yourself why you want to stay. Maybe it's because you like where you're at, you like what you're doing, you enjoy what you're doing, and you want to hang on to it by any means necessary. You wanted your cake and eat it too. When you saw Mark Walter come to you and ask you and the family, "Hey, I want to spend, make this into a $10 billion valuation for the Los Angeles Lakers." They said, "Okay, but I'm going to stay as governor for 5 more years. I want to continue on this well into my 60s. I think she's in her 60s now, well into an age where she can go ahead and retire. She can go ahead and retire now, but I don't feel like she wants to. I feel like she wants to continue on exactly where she's at. She wants to hold on. It's like somebody that just really enjoys where they're at, even though the house is burning down. Legend just enjoys where they are at, and they have to be pulled out by any means necessary in order for that person to realize, you know what, it's all over. And again, it's looking more and more like that. But I don't want to say 100% because, of course, the legal system in California, as you know, or I'm sure as you're aware, it's got its quirks, and it's got its. In fact, my daughter, who one of my oldest daughter is, who's going to be thinking about going into law at UNLV, says the California bar is the most difficult bar in the country to get into as far as the test and the bar exam and things that you have to make. So that shows you how tough the court system it is. And of course, we've talked about with the Lucas situation about the benefits of filing for divorce in California, and about half, cutting everything 50%, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So with that said and done, this is going to get messy.
yep.
It's going to continue to get messy unless she could be talked out of it. But I have a feeling the reason why she's not doing this for money, because if she did this for money, she would have sold and just said with the other Buss family, "Hey, I'm going to take that extra chunk that I'm getting now because the valuation went up 2.5 billion, and I'm going to be on my merry way." She's not doing that. She is doing this for the reason that she enjoys what she's doing. This gives her purpose. I'm assuming this gives her a sense of purpose, and the thing that she's been working with, the organization that she's been working with virtually her entire adult life since she was a student at USC, coming over here working with her dad back in the late 70s, early 80s, 79, when he took over the team. So with that said, my friend, it just seems like she is trying to hold on to the bitter end to go ahead and try and keep what she loves so dearly. And I can't say I blame her for that, but the writing is on the wall, I believe, for that.
It does sound like she wanted to continue to do something that her dad had a lot of passion for, and it obviously looked like she has a lot of passion for it. She doesn't want to give it up, but time goes on. Time passes, and everything don't last forever. She did it for several decades now, but things end. Things don't last forever, and unfortunately, I just think this is gonna be over with pretty quick. She can go to court, try her very best to try to fight to hold on to her position, but it most likely over with. Her only hope at this point to stay within the organization will be up to the new majority owner if they want to keep you or not, and highly doubt that. They probably want to do their own thing.
Well, she can't be governor. You have to have more than a 15% stake in the actual team to be a listed governor. So if she loses this battle and they sell those shares, even against her will, against her approval, Legend, she can't stay on as governor. I mean, as far as it's just a done deal after that.
Yeah, it's just over with at that point. I mean, maybe she can get hired to do something else, but being a governor, yeah, that'll be out the window. Just because it's almost like a majority rule situation. And I can tell you one thing, Gerald. I don't think Thanksgiving gonna be too thankful this year. It's gonna be a lot of tensions going on. A lot of tension.
Yeah. Again, She cannot stay on as governor because, again, about the 15% rule. So if she loses this battle and they end up selling the shares and gets approved and ratified by the NBA legend, that's it. That's done. She is going to be, she could stay on as an employee if Iger and Kushner decide that to be as such, but I don't really know what she would be able to do if she's no longer governor, because if that's the case, she loses all of her power.
Yeah, she loses a lot of power once she's no longer governor, and that's probably something she hates to give up. So I mean, it's unfortunate, but like I say, things end. Things come to an end, and in the end of the day, you gotta take that up with your family. They the one who beat you 5-1. It's just ain't nothing you can do. I guess that next family reunion gonna be not too family orientated. Whenever they have another family reunion for the Buss
Oh,
family.
they're not. That's out the window. I mean, she's not invited. I don't think if that's the case. They might enjoy their winnings together. They might enjoy their extra money they got together, but I don't think they're inviting Jeanie and Jay Moore into that party, my friend.
Yes, it's unfortunate, and it's kind of sad to see a family kind of crumble like this in public. That's the worst thing about it. I mean, I know people probably realize this happens a lot within families, but for a family fall apart like this in public daylight, it looks pretty bad. It looks pretty rough to see. And if I was a member of that family, I would even be like, you guys just couldn't keep this behind closed doors and not to go out like this. It looks bad. It did look bad.
Gregory, she can't stay on as governor. She could be a representative as a hired employee, but if she loses the 17.8% stake due to the 15% rule of the NBA, she cannot stay on as governor. If she doesn't have a 15% or above stake in the team, then or at least her family does, then she loses that aspect immediately upon
Appreciate that, Kurt.
the sale, as far as it's concerned. So yeah, absolutely. There you go. There you go. Legends of choice for governor, indeed. Absolutely. Once again, it is Legend from I Got Next Sports Media, along with me, Jero Glassford. Thanks again for watching this thing. Wanted to make sure I updated you on all the Buss family drama, because I know I'm going to get a lot of comments if I didn't. And I want to go ahead and make sure you guys are caught up to date. I promised you that. So with this legend, the distraction of what happened to Mark Walter last week, as far as out of nowhere selling the team, and then on top of this Buss family drama continues. This comes on the heels of the Luka Slovenia, I guess, mini camp that's going to come up here at the end of the week, and then of course going into training camp later on in September, October, things of that nature. So with that said, my friend, could this be a distraction? And if this hovers over the heads of the Lakers front office, the Lakers team, as it gets into opening day, training camp, things of that nature, do you think this will be a dark cloud over El Segundo, my friend?
I think the players are gonna be able to focus and realize what's happening in the front office don't affect us out here in the court. Yeah, it looks like a disaster, a train wreck, a circus, everything in the book. What's going on in the front office, but what's going on this hardware, this ain't no circus show. We know what we about. I think these guys are gonna be professional enough to be able to realize we can't worry about what's going on in the front office. We're gonna have to let the big dogs handle their mess. Let them handle it, and we handle what we're supposed to handle. And I think that's what these Laker players are gonna do. They're gonna go in the court and focus and realize, look, front office is not as functional right now. It's a little dysfunctional, but that don't mean that us on the court gotta be dysfunctional just because they got issues going on up top. And I think they're gonna handle it pretty well. But I do most definitely believe that these guys are probably having a conversation about what's going on. I just get the feeling, JJ and Luka probably don't discuss about what's happening. And who knows, maybe JJ might feel just a little pressure of like, the people who hired me are about to be gone. Now the pressure can really heat up. If I don't deliver, they will probably get rid of me pretty quick because they can go get their own guy. So, you know.
Indeed, indeed, it is. Indeed. Kurt says, Gerald, would you rather have Kushner-Iger ownership of the Lakers or Mikhail Prokhorov?
Oh man.
That was a bad, that was a bad time, indeed. Herb Cole. Let's throw out there. Let's throw out some bad owners. Let's throw out some owners that may not have
You want Michael
exceeded the fan
Jordan?
expectation. Yeah, Michael Jordan. There you go, right there. Woohoo! All right. Yeah, absolutely. Would love to see that indeed. But it is, of course, the Lakers fast break. Wanted to go ahead and touch on that as far as update you on what's going on with the latest family drama behind the scenes as it affects the Lakers and the possible 17.8% ownership the Buss family currently has as far as the Lakers is concerned. Kurt says, my hard hitting question should get me a job at the ESPN. Yes, but remember, you've got to go ahead and make sure when the corrections come in, you got to have an answer for that as well. And I know you will, Kurt, because you're very sly with that, my friend. I know you will. Isaac says JJ and Palinka's days are number, and that's something I think you mentioned as well. Uh, I go back to what Iger said to the California Post with Kobe Price last week when the sale went down, and paraphrasing, he was going to honor what was going on with the agreement, the handshake agreement between Mark Walters, CEO of the Guggenheim Group, and also as well, of course, what we saw with Jeanie Buss. They were going to go ahead and keep that handshake agreement going forward, most likely. But he said if things change, they change, which was a very big caveat indeed. So with that said, it's very interesting to see what will take place now because the timeline for this is crazy. Sunday, a week ago Sunday, the call was made as far as the initial interest in buying the Los Angeles Lakers. That got wrapped up by Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. On Monday, I guess, I don't know, based off of that or based off of just, what's going on, they came together as far as the meeting is concerned for who held it? Oh, yes, VP of Finance, Joe McCormack, called for emergency meeting of the Buss siblings last Monday, a week ago Monday, to discuss a dissolution of the family trust and seeking unanimous approval to lock down all family shares for 4 years under a new trust. All that is interesting that all of a sudden, boom, they decide as a family outside of Jeanie to go ahead and latch on to this current sale with Bob Iger and Josh Kushner. I mean, it goes from one extreme to the next, and it's going from one extreme to the next, not only with Mark Walter, but the Buss family as well.
Yeah, it's just going from one situation to the next, and I'm curious to see how this plays out. I am curious to see how these guys run the organization, maybe what they do different. Because now with all this happening, I actually wonder what's going to happen with that new position they made for the scouting department and all that. Like, what's going to happen with that now? Is he still going to do it? Are you going to cut it? I don't know. Maybe you don't want to spend money, or maybe you going to want to invest in it. I don't know. So it's kind of curious to see how will they decide to run the show going forward. Will you be one of them owners who are willing to spend money to win, or are you going to be like Portland owner or something? Want to be a little cheap and be like, nah, not opening the pocketbook today. Sorry, fellas. Figure out what we got. Curious to see what he's willing to do. But it's gonna be interesting to see how this plays out. And I figured we probably won't see the full 100% effect of new ownership probably until next summer. What I would say, you probably really begin to see it this year. You probably gonna still see some Mark Walter stuff, and then next year you probably see the 100% of what the new ownership gonna do.
One thing I did want to ask you, as far as what we're seeing, because again, Kurt mentioned it. It's something that was mentioned along with the Chris Paul deal, as far as his relationship, Bob Iger's with Chris Paul, also as well with JJ Redick, who he knew as when JJ Redick has his years as Clipper, and he was a season ticket holder. So, your thoughts on this legend? Could this mean as far as a safety net for JJ Redick with Bob Iger and his familiarity with JJ Redick?
Oh, so now that's something new. Didn't know that. So that actually might put a little safety net for JJ. He might be okay then. I might take a lot of pressure off of him, knowing my buddy got me. Honestly, it might work out better for him on the low. It might work out better for JJ. So this actually looks good for him. Rob Pelinka, I'm sorry, bro. Ain't nothing look good for you. Yeah, your stuff might be already packed. But JJ might can keep his suitcase in the closet a little bit longer. Might not have to worry about him to pack up. He might be all right.
What about Chris Paul? Again, he's formed a relationship with Bob Iger. Many credit those two, Bob Iger and Chris Paul, for during the lockout, the COVID lockout, as far as it's concerned, they were, spending a lot of time together, and they came up with the formula for the bubble and pitched that to Adam Silver, and obviously we know the rest that came out of it. There's been rumors that Chris Paul would be integrated into the organization somehow. I'm assuming at first as an advisor, but who knows from there. Your thoughts, my friend, on Chris Paul and that relationship, again, that stems back to when Bob Iger was a season ticket holder of the Clippers.
Well, and a lot of people always said, Chris Paul should have been a Laker. David Stern vetoed that deal way back in the day. I guess you finally get him if he decide to come, just not as a player though. It'll be interesting. I just wonder, how would the players react to him if he was there because of, Chris Paul is known for his ways in practice, and one of the reasons why the Clippers gave him the boot the way he did, which I was still messed up to this day. I ain't never seen nobody get deal like that way. But just curious to see how the players will react to him. I'm assuming what gives him a good chance of being hired by the Lakers is not only that relationship that he got with the new people coming in, he got a relationship with JJ Redick too. So I mean, it almost does kind of line up to make sense for Chris Paul to end up being with the Lakers. But be interesting to see how that play out. Maybe you'll get Cliff Paul. Cliff Paul not a sell state for him. So
well, that's what Kurt Affair says. Joe says he's trying to climb on the train and said, "Well, I was going to say that too. Joe, you're not that fast." So, anyways, of course, Kurt Affair said that. So there you go. But one thing I do want to go ahead and to also talk about before we head on out, my friend, is the Kawhi Leonard situation. ESPN, here we go again, reported earlier today that through sources they had said that the Clippers were not going to receive any type of penalties in regards to the Kawhi thing, and of course, in less than an hour later, the NBA said, no, we haven't finished our investigation yet, and several parts of that report were erroneous. Also, the part where in that statement, the original statement and the original tweet that was put out there talked about negotiations being taken place between Steve Ballmer and the NBA, or the legal team, the legal company that's in charge of the investigation, et cetera, et cetera. So negotiations. Why is there negotiation? Pablo Torre called this out later in the day. Said, why would there need to be any negotiations? That tells you right there that the NBA wants to skirt out of this in any way possible.
Adam Silver. You continue to prove us right. You as soft as torment tissue, man. This ain't a good look, man. Because I don't know if it's true or not, but it looked like what you're trying to do is get that broom out your closet. You're trying to sweep this under the rug and try to get everybody's mindset off of it. It looks bad. It looks bad if you really let this slide, because you basically telling everybody else in the league, well, do what you want. You'll probably get away with it. That's what you kind of saying. Probably gonna get away with it with no problem. You gotta do some type of punishment. Even if it ain't true. Let's say it's not true. Let's go off of that assumption. Maybe it's not true. You should give some type of punishment for even allowing this to even come up. Should have never came up in the first place. But to let Kawhi just walk free, nothing happen, that makes you look bad as a commissioner. It makes you look soft. It makes it look like the players can kind of do what they want at that point. I'm not gonna lie. If I was in the NBA and I see that Kawhi Leonard, then nothing happened to him, I'm finna pick up my phone and be like, "Hey, bro, can we start up a fake tree business? Hey, he got away with it. I can do it too. Why not? It just looks bad. You gotta do something. You can't just do nothing. You gotta have. I gotta say how my boy Joe said. Have some balls, man. Just be a man and throw down the hammer, man. Don't be soft. Don't be soft. You gotta do something. It looks bad.
But it's also no coincidence that this is taking place with the owner with the most the richest owner in the NBA. So it's not an accident you're hearing or seeing the stuff put out there. I'm assuming those leaks probably came somewhere in and around Los Angeles, around the Clippers and
Mm-hmm.
Intuit Dome, maybe around as far as that's concerned, because they want to put out there as fast as possible. They want to get this behind them. They had a statement also prepared almost instantly after that news break came out, which also makes you wonder who put that out in the first place. So, with that
Somebody
said,
get a cut
again,
of the money.
yeah, exactly. So, again, they're trying to put this to bed as easily as possible. So, we'll see if the NBA now is even more guilt tripped into doing this the correct way or not, as we'll go ahead and continue to go ahead and observe this Kawhi issue going forward. But on top of all that, a minor day when the Spurs not getting a chance to go ahead and have the people of San Antonio vote on a new arena as it was rejected by the city council, when that's a story that virtually no one knows or hears about, that tells you all you need to know about the day in general for the NBA legend.
Yeah, that tells you all you need to know right there. I mean, if Kawhi Leonard get off this scotch free, I don't know what to say for the NBA anymore. At that point, I've been saying the last month you need to get rid of the commissioner in the WNBA because holy, you getting out of hand with all the controversy and stuff. You just letting people just do what they want in the league and just get money off of fake business and stuff like that. It looks bad at that point. I'm almost to the point of saying you got to get Adam Silver out of there as commissioner. You got to get a new commissioner. You got to get somebody who ain't afraid to throw down the hammer. Because I think we can all agree if David Stern was still here, he would handle this a whole lot different.
Well, he did with the Joe Smith saga, where they initially took 5 number one draft choices away for the Minnesota Timberwolves because it was actually written on I don't think on the napkin, if I remember correctly, or something like that. They actually had a smoking gun with that setup with Joe Smith's contract. They eventually reduced it to 3 number ones, but still, you get the point. And I still think that this is way more egregious than the
Yeah,
Joe Smith saga, especially if you, unlike Joe, who has the attention span of a housefly, you're actually watching the Pablo Torre finds out episodes, all 14 of them, puts it in there in proof. He's got people that are willing to go ahead and go on the record for it. He's got a laundry list, stacks and stacks of paperwork that, you know, basically give you a through line from one to the other as far as how is this being done and perpetrated, especially on the aspiration part of it. So again, legend, it's just very interesting to see how the evidence keeps lining itself in one way, and as we get these rumors, as we get these sources, as we get what this supposed news that comes out again, Baxter Holmes seems to be so insanely jealous of Pablo Torre being a newsbreaker, which is what he used to be, that he gleefully tries to go ahead and undercut. This is like the second or third time he's tried to do that during the course of this investigation. I will just say again that I think not everything else out on the table as far as what the NBA has ready to do. But if you follow everything that goes on, it's really hard to prove there's not something fishy going on in Clipperland.
yeah. It's just hard not to believe something ain't going on behind the scenes. It's just too much came out. It's too much. And at the end of the day, Pablo didn't pull all this stuff out his butt or anything. He got this from somebody. Somebody had to know something. That's why I say Adam Silver has to. You got to do something. You just can't let this go and let Kawhi Leonard just escape out of LA and go to Toronto, which to me is another red flag. The fact that he chose to want to go back to Toronto when he left Toronto because he wanted to go home in LA. All of a sudden, when all this happened, now you want to leave and go somewhere else. That to me is a red flag telling you there's something to this whole situation. The fact that he wants to get out of LA, it says a lot, honestly. So hopefully Adam Silver be a man be a commissioner and do the right thing. You got to give him some type of punishment. And yeah, you can't hurt Steve Ballmer with money. He ain't gonna lose no sweat for money. But you can't hurt them first round draft picks though. Make Clippers have to work around a lot of ways to be competitive. No first round draft picks for a couple of years. That's a fair punishment. And you do something to Kawhi with his contract wise. You got to get him somewhere. Can't let both sides slide.
But Mike, I want to go ahead and mention to you as far as what they've repeatedly said on the Pablo Torre Finds Out podcast, and they go back to the CBA. If you go to the CBA, there's a clause there where the NBA commissioner can act on something that if it shows if it looks like there's cap circumvention, even if you don't have a smoking gun, they can act, Mike. And that's it. That was written. It's there on the Pablo Torre Finds Out podcast. You can see it. He shows you the clause that it's there, that you only have to have circumstantial evidence, in which they do have a mountain of circumstantial evidence towards this case. So again, I think you have to go ahead and see that clause and then understand why that it is so much pressure on this. They don't have the smoking gun that says they're going to give Aspiration or Daktronics or the Rhode Island Fire X amount to Kawhi, and he doesn't have to do anything. Again, all the money and all as far as where all the accounts that's been pointing into, the LLCs that were created, everything as far as what was said in federal court cases and the whole 9 yards, and what the CBA says. The CBA itself has a provision for just that, for circumstantial evidence that the NBA commissioner can act on. And there is a mountain of circumstantial evidence right now. And whether or not you want to agree that, even though, again, both sides say they have sources, Pablo Torres showcases his sources, though, behind hidden cameras and disguised voices. I don't know how much that's different, if you want to say, as far as journalism is concerned, from what Baxter Holmes is doing. Again, it's a provision in the CBA. A provision in the CBA specifically outlines this, Mike. And I think, again, Silver is a lawyer. You're right. But again, this is a provision in the CBA that they've outlined several times on that show. And if that's the case, you can follow that through if you want to. The question is, does the NBA want to fight Ballmer, the richest owner in the NBA, on this? And I think that's the question you want to ask out there. That's not whether this is shady as stuff or shady as heck or anything like that. It's shady as heck. And it says in the CBA that there's a provision already done for it. The proof is there from that CBA that there's wrongdoing on the part of the Clippers, that this is messy stuff that's going on and it smells, and they can act upon it. But the question is, Legend, I think, does the NBA want to fight Steve Ballmer? And then if they want to suspend Kawhi and Uncle Dennis and all that, do they want to go ahead and fight the NBA PA as well?
I mean, they should. They should try to fight it. You got to have some backbone, because if you look like a pushover, other teams are going to take advantage of it. They're going to think we can do some sly things underneath the table and we won't get in trouble. Clippers got away with it. Why can't I? And that's what the NBA as a whole have to think about in the long run. You don't want to look like a pushover to these owners and these players. You got to show that you mean business. And this is the best example you can do. Lay down the hammer on Ballmer and the Clippers, and lay down the hammer on Kawhi Leonard and his group. You got to do what you got to do. You got to be a man, lay down the hammer, let these teams and players know that you're not the one. I run this league, not you. And we're going to do this the right way. And when you do this stuff, it's going to be harsh punishments. Take them first round picks and punish Kawhi with his contract. Do what you got to do.
Do what you got to do, indeed. But once again, it is Legend from I Got Next Sports Media, along with me, Gerald Glassford. Thanks again for watching, listening. We'll keep an eye on this, as once again, Jeanie Buss is willing to put up a fight against her siblings, who voted, not her, 5-0 for selling their share, 17.8% of the Buss family stake in the Los Angeles Lakers to the Bob Iger, Josh Kushner group, who last week got the, started with the $12.5 billion valuation from Mark Walters, CEO of the Guggenheim Group, right there for you as well. So again, they want to add on to it, but Jeanie Buss looks like she wants to put up a fight. If she can, we'll have to wait and see. But we'll keep you apprised of what's going on. Legend, my friend, it's been an interesting day to say the least. I'll have more on the Lakers' latest channel tomorrow as far as discussing that. Legend, hopefully we'll be able to come back later this week with some good stuff as well. Maybe some basketball related topics. That would be really kind of nice. But anything you want to go ahead and share before we head on out?
Definitely say what we'll be doing a live stream this upcoming weekend. We're gonna talk a little bit about the NBA, the WNBA. We're gonna talk about college football and kind of really get in the swing of things as a lot of other sports are getting ready to start coming back. Maybe even talk about a little bit of the NFL. Talk about how my Falcons still look like complete trash, but we're gonna do a good bit of talking.
Well, there you go, indeed. I don't know if Joe is still planning to do a show. He had talked about doing a show tonight, so hopefully the Joe Sorrell experiment will go off tonight as planned. If not, I'm sure he'll do something this week because he wants to talk about the Steelers as well. So go ahead and check out the Joe Sorrell experiment. Also, check out what Legend has got going on with I Got Next Sports Media. Please like and subscribe to there as well. And before you leave, if you have not yet done so already, please like and subscribe to us right here at the Lakers Fast Break as well. Big shout out to Blue Magic for getting out the please hit the like and subscribe. You know what, Joe? I'm nice to Joe. I plug his channel, and all he does is that he gives us a rude response. That's what a village idiot does, and that is Joe Sorrell. So if you want to see the village idiot more, go ahead and check out the Joe Sorrell experiment. Indeed, the Jose Sorrell experiment. Since he couldn't get that right, he had no. Well, I don't want to go into it. I'll just leave it at that. It was in the Lakerholics chat. Again, Joe needs to study up on his world history, and after what I saw tonight in the chat, his English as well. So we'll leave it at that. But go ahead and check out what Jose Sorrell has on for you tonight at the Jose Sorrell experiment. Check out what's upcoming this week for you on the Legend and I Got Next Sports Media channel. Oh, Parade on Figueroa said, Gerald, the infighting within family really sours my view on the Lakers organization. The only thing I could say to you to might provide some comfort, Parade on Figueroa, is that how long has the Buss family been infighting? Quite a while. Quite a while. Say since Dr. Buss died, and they've won a championship, in that time. One. It's not great. It's not conducive to winning, but it's not the be all end all. I think because it's the not the major part, the majority part of the ownership, as opposed to the minority part of the ownership, the 17.8% stake in the company. It may not affect as much. It may not resonate as much. Parade on Figueroa, and I understand it's disconcerting. And again, the comment that was made last week about the Lakers being a clown show, it's looking like a clown show. I can no longer defend it. And I no longer want to choose to. So there you go. Absolutely. I throw affection through decimation. Joe, I think you should go and, you should, instead of just running your sin blades, you should go ahead and find a new job writing Hallmark cards. That's what you do. Yeah. Put that on a Hallmark card and send it out this Christmas to everyone. There you go. Indeed. But of course, go ahead whenever Joe Sorrell decides to do a show, whether it's tonight or this week or Legend this week on I Got Next Sports Media. Please go ahead and check them both out, indeed. And we'll come back as the news warrants. Parade on Figueroa, shout out to you on Twitch. Shout out to Kurt Affair, who's provided the actual comedy in the chat as opposed to Joe. Joe's just someone we laugh at, not with. But again, great to have Kurt here. Great to have you here. Great to have JSJ, Blue Magic, everybody that was a part of Craig. Everybody that was a part of what we want. Mike, BDA Pink, everyone out there. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back as soon as the news warrants. Or talking basketball. That would be nice. Right here at the Lakers Fast Break podcast.